tune in, that means you're feeling the vibe. The bell rung, you already been subscribed. Right now, the queen, she on live. Right now. Please pull over the whip, no phoning when you drive. Dope Soul Sporting with the talk. First lady from New York, Brooklyn. All my people, you rocking with the chat. Hit that. The like button would tell me where you at. You know, step from the MBK. Born and raised up MBK. Hey, real lady where she holding it down. No matter way how you feel, she gon' greet you with a smile.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Oh, sister, it's time you
That's
shine. Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Dope Soul.
What?
Dope Soul.
What?
Your soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Salute, Nick family. Welcome to the Dope Soul Sports Talk channel, the Just Nickin' It bonus show. Our only show, actually. I know we only have 2 preseason games left, but this is the last show of the preseason. So we'll talk about the preseason based on only three games. We're going to talk about Cat, all things Cat. Is he meeting your expectations so far? Do you remain hopeful, or have your concerns been justified, at least early on? We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Cat and Brunson. We'll talk about OG and Mikal as well. And then we'll also talk about the bench, basically rolling with a 3-guard lineup in that second unit. So we'll talk about that some. And then we'll talk about, if anybody is making a push to enter the rotation. So let's get to it. Glad to be back. By the way, I'm refreshed from my vacation. Shout out to Kingston, Mandeville, where else? Negril, Ocho Rios, Savannah Lamar. Appreciate you. Actually, right hand. Appreciate you. All right, let's get to it.
Salute.
All right. Geoff, appreciate you. Trey Frazier, Barbershop Sport 2, or is that supposed to be sports like?
That's the Twitter handle, Barbershop SPOR2.
Okay.
The name of the show is Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast.
Got you. Welcome. How you doing, fellas?
Great.
Man, I am doing so great. The teams I root for this time of year are all good teams, and that's not something I can say every year. So I'm just happy that my sports universe is on the happy side.
Yeah, I know that's right. Shout out to the chat. There was a lot more comments. I don't know what happened when we started the show. What happened to the comments? But shout out to Bob and Jam Session and Wonder Woman, Harlem World, Nostalgia Nick, Jerrell, J Boogie in the house. All right.
What up,
and
Jerrell?
Green-UPS TV. All right. Only 3 preseason games. Is actually our last show, unless we do another bonus show before our last show covering the preseason, I should say. So before we get in depth about Cat and Brunson, OG, the bench, just what's your overall thoughts on what you've seen so far by the Knicks across 3 games, Geoff?
Oh, I'm real encouraged. I love the fact that, all the things that you talked about wanting last year from the 5 spot, we have them now in spades. And it's funny because we haven't even really shot the ball that well yet, and our offense is still humming along at a really good clip. I like a lot of the lineups that we've seen with, I think Mikal and OG really fit together well. I think you're seeing that early on. I like what I've seen from Tyler Kolek. I like what I've seen from Campaign. Even Landry Shamet, I think, has been good. Deuce McBride has been encouraging also. So just really encouraged. I don't take a ton of stuff away from meaningless games, so I'm not going to go overboard one way or the other because this one had a good preseason game or this one had a bad one. But overall feeling and vibes are excellent.
Yeah, I would agree. Trey?
Yeah, I ain't gonna front. I'm not usually a preseason watcher in terms
Mhm.
of the Knicks, just because it's just been a lot going on sports wise. But I did see some of the highlights, and I got to tell you, I think Cat has elevated the five position in a way that us Knicks fans have never seen it before. With all due respect to the great centers that have blessed the floor in the Garden, Patrick Ewing, and the other greats. Cat brings a different element, not just the rebounding, but he brings the scoring as well. And quietly, he can pass too. I think people sleep on his ability to get players good shots, but he's sneakily good when it comes to getting others involved in the game. I can't wait for this pick and roll to happen between him and Brunson for sure. OG and Bridges, which are going to be the two guys that's going to lock down the other team's best scorers on the opposite end. I can't wait to see that, and I'm really looking forward to when the games really matter. Um, and like some good stuff I'm seeing in the highlights, but I'm looking forward to next Tuesday night for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No doubt about it. I've actually been able to catch all three games while I was away. And it's gonna take some time just overall for the Knicks to, get it together. I saw I forgot what game it was when they went to the Brunson Cat pick and roll, maybe like 3, 4 times in a row and got some really good shots out of it. But Cat is not as efficient as he usually is and how we expect him to be as he makes the adjustment. I think Mikal Bridges is trying to find his way, um, a little bit in the offense. OG had only scored, I don't know, 9, 10 points the first 2 games before that breakout in the Minnesota game. And I think Brunson also it's going to take him some time as it is with past first point guards, as your team changes around you to kind of just figure out what's that flow between taking your shot, scoring, and passing. So, I think he still needs to find that rhythm. And, we'll go more in depth on all of these topics. I think the benches look good. I like the way um, Miles McBride looks. I like the way campaign is really surprising me. Now, we was talking about him being situational, and I forgot who it was that said campaign is going to have something to say about that in training camp. And he has something to say about that in training camp. It's going to be interesting to see if they go with a 3 guard second unit. I'm not so sure about that. Um, but we'll see. But let's just segue now. Just talking in general. Let's just segue specifically to Cat. Um, it's only been 3 games. It's only preseason. But if you had any concerns about them, have they been answered yet, or do you still have those concerns? And if you were very hopeful or very solid on what you thought you were going to get from him. Have you seen that through the first 3 games? We'll start with you, Trey. And I know you've only been you haven't seen all of the games through.
Yeah, but I'll confidently say no. At this point, I do think that we do need to see a lot more. It's not like he was traded over the summer. I mean, he just literally got to the team 10 minutes ago.
Mm,
So still going to be a lot for him to grow with this team, and there's going to still be some room for guys to get used to him as well as he has to get used to the players on the team. But
mhm.
through preseason games, through some of what I saw, I like what I see so far. And I got to address something in the comments real quickly here because a lot of folks think that I'm disrespecting Ewing. I'm not disrespecting Ewing. I'm not saying that Cat is better than Patrick Ewing. All I'm saying is that Cat is bringing an element to the 5 position that no other 5 has brought to that position in Knicks history. Cat is they say he's one of the best, shooting, big men. They say he's one of the best at that. We haven't seen that in the past with that position. So that's what I'm saying, is that Cat brings certain things to that position that others haven't, despite their greatness. I wanted to clear that up.
Yes. Okay. That was okay. I thought that was just an aside till you get back to your
Oh, sorry. No, my fault. Yeah, no, that was it. That was my whole point, was we still need to see more. I don't think I've seen enough. I'm sure Geoff feels somewhat similar, but I think when these games matter and when we go up against the real competition, which is going to be Boston, Milwaukee, Philadelphia, and the like, and some teams out west, then that's when we're really going to get a feel for how this team's going to be and how Cat fits in.
Great. Did you have any concerns with the trade? Any concerns about him coming to the team? Because I know we didn't really talk since the trade.
Right. I did. When the trade happened, it took me literally 24 hours to really digest it. My initial reaction was I didn't want Cat. I know that was a topic of conversation for about a year or two. I just didn't want the guy. Me personally, I wanted to see when Julius came back healthy, how this team was going to go along with Mikal Bridges and see how that went. Obviously, I think I've come around on the trade. Let me say that. I've come around on the trade. I think the disappointing part about it is that they had to put Dante in the trade to make that happen. I was real disappointed in that, because Dante was somebody that I was excited about when we acquired him in the last offseason, something that, he added to this team, consistent 3-point shooting. You look at the big shot he hit against the Sixers in game 2 in the playoffs. You look at the 35 points he put up albeit it was a losing effort, but he put up 35 against the Pacers in game 3. He's had some moments, throughout the regular season in the playoffs, and I just hate that we only get to experience it for a year with him. So,
right.
But I've come around to the trade. I like the idea. I think this definitely puts us in that, championship mode. I mean, I felt like we was already there already, but now for sure, like, this is now, go get him time.
Yeah. Definitely, for sure. I think, and then I'll get to Geoff. What I'm looking to see from Cat, I think it's going to take more time for me to see it. I had no qualms about his offense, about his shooting, about his ability to play in the post, about his rebounding. It's, can he stay out of foul trouble? And he's been doing, he's been doing better with that. Can he take advantage of the mismatches? And I think he still has to get better with that. And to be honest, and I may have missed it, I haven't looked at the games multiple times. I haven't seen a lot of pick and roll switches where he's on, a smaller guy is guarding him, and he pulled up for the 3. I'm sure it's happened. I just haven't watched the game, like that to see it. So that still remains to be seen for me. Can he take event? Is he willing? I know he can. He has a post game. He's not a bully guy. Like, there's a difference between a guy who can just bully you to the basket because they're stronger than you and get a basket, and somebody who actually has post moves. Like, he has post moves. So I do want to see, and I've yet to see it, him consistently take advantage of the mismatch and take those smaller guys, down into the post. So I definitely, want to see that. What I'm encouraged about is his offensive rebounding, just his willingness to hit the offensive boards. In game 2, I think he had 4 offensive rebounds. I'm not sure how many he had last night, but he was getting a second chance opportunities. So that must be a Knick thing. That must be something.
He's already replacing what what's
Hartenstein.
Yes, what Hartenstein, gave us last year. So he's already replacing an element that we lost in the offseason. So that's great.
Yeah, I think that's a plus. I wasn't really expecting offensive rebounding, and and we're getting that. And then I'll let Boogie in the room. Another thing that I think is going to happen, his defense is going to get better as the season goes on. You can book it under Thibodeau. Robinson's defense got better under Thibodeau. Now Robinson had the raw tools, but I think if he really honed it under Thibodeau. If you remember the first few games Hartenstein played, he was a disaster defensively. And as the season progressed, he got better. Now the trade for OG Anunoby helped, but Cat has that from the beginning. I think defensively he's going to get better as the season goes on under under Tom Thibodeau. So, no surprises except for the offensive rebounding. And the other stuff I want to see, I'm gonna have to wait till the season, in order to see it. But I'm really happy. I'm happy with Cat. Let me let Boogie in the house. Ajay's in the house. Salute Ajay. He's on audio only today. We usually don't allow it.
I'm on audio only. No, it's a special situation.
It's a special situation. Ajay, how you doing? And then we'll get to
I'm okay. Shout out to you, Queen, Boogie, Trey, Geoff, my guy. I feel like it's been that trade was like 2 weeks ago. I feel like it's been like two months ago. Yeah. I mean, I've been watching the preseason games, and Queen, I know you want to talk about the trade because I know the last show you wanted to know.
I don't want to talk about the trade. I was just asking
not
trade.
Okay. No, because the last show, I couldn't be part of the show, and you were asking, like, have people turn around, like, have you had time to digest the trade and how you still feeling about it and all that stuff? So I don't know if you want to touch up on that a little bit, or
you could definitely touch up on it before we get to Boogie. Sure.
Yeah, we could. So, and I'll try to make it real quick. I was listening to Trade Talk, and I feel, it's really the same thing. I feel a lot of the same way he mentioned, in a sense that the trade, it's a good trade because Cat is a better player than Julius Randle. Because of the spacing and his accuracy, he's more efficient than Julius Randle. Of course, Julius Randle got certain things that he provided that Cat I don't see in him, like the bully ball and the crazy rebounds and all that, the rough and tough stuff down low that Julius Randle, when he wants to, he can get that done. I don't see it in Cat yet. That's not to say that he can't do it. But just like Trey was saying, I felt like we worked so hard for so many years to get the team to where we had him, and we didn't give him a chance to see what we could do with that team, with Randle and DiVincenzo. So, and as I mentioned, the night they did the trade, it's not the Randle for Cat part that's bothersome. It's more the losing DiVincenzo, that guy coming off the bench, and not having, like, getting rid of those two guys. As you can notice in the preseason, it's a huge change in the lineup because now you have Josh Hart starting at the 3. They have him at the 3. That changes everything. And I haven't seen Josh Hart have a good game where you say, oh, that's a good Josh Hart game. So I guess you could see the talent in those guys, and you could see the better spacing and all that stuff. But obviously the chemistry is not there yet. And I understand it's going to take some time. Hopefully it happens sooner rather than later. But listen, it's not, it's not that it's a good or bad trade. It's just that, some of us fans, that we wanted to see what this team was like with the guys we had last season and those guys coming back off an injury, or those guys coming back in tip-top shape. You know what I'm saying? So, but when you look at the stats, Randle and Cat's stats are very similar. In a lot of ways, even with Cat, a better shooter, like you usually get the same amount of points and the same amount of, almost the same amount of rebound. So I don't know. It's just the spacing. Hopefully the team plays better, But I feel like that with the lineup changes, especially in the starting lineup, I don't like Josh Hart at the 3.
Yeah.
Right now, it doesn't look good to me. Like I said, hopefully with chemistry that'll become like they'll work that out better. But right now, I don't see it a good thing.
All right. So I definitely want to get back to the question. So let me rephrase the question so Boogie will know, where we at. Shout out to the chat, by the way. I appreciate you guys. I see you in there, super active. So the question was, it's only been 3 games. It's only been 3 games. But whatever concerns you had about Cat coming into the season, do you feel better about it? And if you were happy about the trade, do you see things that kind of justified or kind of cemented what you were thinking about the trade? So, Boogie, how are you? First of all, hopefully things are well with you and the fam. And yeah, take it away.
I'm good. I'm good, Queen. Blessings, health, happiness to everybody. Hope everybody's in the greatest form of health. Anybody that's going through anything, we don't pray that you go through it. We pray that you get through it. Shout out to Aggie. Shout out to my man Trey. Nice to meet you personally. What up to the captain? Shout out to everybody that's viewing. Run them likes up, man. Run them likes up. We need that motivation. Them thumbs. It's real easy for you to do. Just touch that like button. Queen, game by game, I've been watching and seeing how Halloween is right around the corner. What that means is I got a Knick mask on right now. This thing right here is about to get real scary. I'm looking at this team and I just love the way that they're dedicated to making this chemistry come together. You can see them actually working, and at the same time, you can see them actually doing some of their normal stuff that they would normally have been doing far as, before they all got together, meaning, Bridges and Cat. And then you got Brunson, OG, and Josh. They all trying to figure it out and make it work together for the better reason and a better cause. And it's only going to get better and better. The talking, the communication, I love that. I was there at the Charlotte game, and I just love seeing on the sidelines during timeouts and when they weren't in the game, you see Brunson and you see Towns. They was constantly communicating, talking with one another, pointing things out, trying to figure out where I should be at this point in time and what should I do when you do this. You saw that communication, and the same thing goes to the London Bridges and OG and Mikael. You seen them talking and trying to communicate with one another. How can we, make sure that we're in arm's reach on the defensive end? Making this five on the defensive end lock in and secured. I hear you talk about Josh. Josh is really, like, to me, is looking like the odd man, not knowing really what is it that I need to do or what should I do, or as he might be in a space where he knows something else is about to come. He's going to have a different role. I don't know, but I love where this team is at, and especially, I really appreciate it when they had Deuce, Mikael, OG. I believe it was Shamit and Precious in the third quarter the other night. You seen some sensor counts. IDs was in the window, some straight lockdown sensor count, and I loved it that right there. But this team it's gonna take time to get to where the team gonna get comfortable at. So me personally, I'm looking for that first L, that first beat down, that first loss, whereas the team can turn back and look and say, okay, this is what we need to adjust to. Things is okay working when you're winning, but you see more and understand more what you need to do when you take a loss. And I'm looking forward to that. And because I believe this team right here is a real dominant team. It's almost a mimic copycat of the Celtics without the experience that they have and without the championship. Knowing that they went and got Holiday last year, so we went and got Mikael this year, knowing they went and got Bridges last year, so we went and got Towns right here. I just need OG to continue on doing what he's doing the last game until we figure out if we're going to go get another big to slide Towns to the power forward spot. Until then, I'm going to accept this trade. I would swap Towns out for Hartenstein in a heartbeat. That's the trade swap out right there, putting him at center, putting him at the top of the key, a better shooter, a person that, you know what I'm saying, that draws more to the game where other players can do other things, backdoor cuts and all that right there. That's a more potent center than what Hartenstein is. And if OG can do what he did at the power forward slot, not being hesitant to take a shot, being aggressive, and at the same time he's on the defensive end, then I'm okay with that. But I do believe we need to go and get another big, so therefore we can utilize all the Towns and not just using him for just being able to shoot and just being able to spread the floor. And I just think we should make one more move and get another big and maybe one more person to come off that bench, so we can be all solidified. But I love where we at right now. I love the squad. I love what they're doing. Shout out to Leon Rose, the organization, swinging, doing what he said he needs to do and feeling what he needs to feel to get a championship. No matter how somebody might feel, love loss, players leaving, players switching and everything. You can't be attached to these players, Always just remember, you got your shirt on the right side. It says New York. You don't switch the tag and bring the tag in the front, put New York on the back and getting your feelings about what's going on. If you want a championship, you got to continue on trusting in what Leon Rose is planning and what he's been doing.
Yeah, for sure. Listen, I agree with you. I would love, to me, I think Robinson is perfect. If he was healthy, he would be perfect with Cat. I would not start him, and I would not start Cat at power forward. Me personally, I just think our team is better with him at the 5, because now everybody on the defense has to account for everybody else. But I do like having somebody like Mitchell Robinson, so at times you can play them together. So he can play behind Cat, he can play beside Cat, and you get that versatility. And to your point, I do think we need to do something else with the bench. I mean, we'll talk about that in a bit. We're running that 3-guard lineup out there, and it's looking okay in the preseason. I'm not sure how that's going to work, during the regular season, but we shall see. Any surprises from Cat before we move on to I want to talk about Cat and Brunson together. Anything surprise you, or just as advertised? And then I'll get to the chat. Ajay, we'll start with you.
I mean, there's no surprise. We know Cat. He's been in the league for a long time, so it's not like we don't know what he can do. He's a very good player. He's a good big, and he could play the 4 or the 5. Right now, they have him at the 4, and like you said, it would probably it would be great if we have a true center and have him play at the 4. Then we would have a pretty good advantage. Now it would really be him, replacing Julius Randle in that lineup, and it would make a huge difference. But I see he's a little not even he's not. He wasn't terrible on defense, but he is making an effort. I think Tibbs starting to preach that in his head. He's going after defensive rebound. He's going after the shot, trying to block the shot. He's making a more conscious effort. It could be Tibbs, or it could be because he knows he's a 5. He's the 5. He doesn't have Rudy Gobert behind him. You know what I'm saying? So it could be, either one of those. But there is nevertheless a conscious effort there to play a little more defense. Otherwise, it's the preseason. I was watching the game the other day. He didn't shoot the ball great, but that's to be expected. It's the preseason, barely any training camp. He's coming in rusty. I expect all that to work itself out once the season get going. Within the first couple of games of the season, and as Jay Boogie said a little while ago, the chemistry is going to get better. So this team, it's going to get better. But as far as Cat, it is as advertised, but actually a little less than advertised. But because it's the preseason, you can't really judge it. You know what I'm saying? So it's best to after 10 games or 12, after a dozen games, or after the first month or whatever. At least after the first month, we come back and we'd be like, okay, we're starting to see the Cat that we're accustomed to seeing playing. He's been in the league for a while, so we know what he can and can't do. You know what I'm saying? So He's not there yet with the chemistry and with the spacing, but you could definitely see the level of talent that he has. It's just a matter of time before that chemistry get better. This team's gonna be good. It'll just take him some time.
Yeah. Geoff, do you think he's shooting? Now, I just got in early in the morning. I haven't been able to look over the stats. Do you think he's taking too many 3-pointers, or do you think he's, just playing his game and he's getting them in the flow of the game?
I think he's just letting it fly. I think they all are. I think that's kind of what Thibodeau wants them to do. I think that's how it is, and I think the time will come where they'll get him on the block and see that hook shot that's so efficient and those sorts of things. But again, it's preseason. You don't want to show everything you got. Everything in preseason is vanilla. You can't take a ton from these games. I mean, it's nice to win. Anytime the Knicks are on the court, I want them to win, but it's preseason. So from that standpoint, I think he's going to be fine. I think you will see more of a diet of inside stuff once the regular season starts. But I also think that people are forgetting that when last season the Cat played the 5 full time, he was third team All NBA behind Embiid and the Joker. And last year in the playoffs, he was a big reason why they beat the Nuggets because his defense on the Joker was very good. So I think that we're really underestimating how good Towns can be for this team because we loved Randall so much. And I think we can separate those things. Two things can be true. Randall was great for us, but Cat can be great for us too. And I think in terms of fit, I think he fits better. I think he allows our offense to be more modern than Julius did. I think he gives us a different look. I think he's more in tune with how the Knicks want to play. And I think it's more in tune with building a roster around that fits around our best player in Jalen Brunson. So it's going to take some time, but let's give it a chance and see what we got. But I think Cat at the 5 is going to be really good.
You make a good point. I think this trade. I mean, I don't want to go backwards. It was all about Brunson. It was all about what they think Brunson will need. I think that's what a big part of it. I'm not saying there weren't other elements, but I think that was a big part of it. Trey, do you think? I mean, I don't think we need Cat to be all world now. I think when you do have those wing stoppers, you can get away with less rim protection. Talk to me about your expectations of him on the defensive end, just what you would like to see.
I would like to see, and I wanted to throw this out there earlier, that when Tibbs got the Timberwolves job years ago, Cat's defensive numbers did go up. It wasn't exponentially all the way up, but he did improve on defense once Tibbs got there. So now that they're both reunited again, I would expect that I think when he plays more the 4, he's going to be relied on more so offensively than defensively, I think. And it's kind of like the whole Rudy Gobert thing. Like they got Rudy just so that Cat can focus on offense. In this situation, when Mitch comes back, it'll kind of be the same thing. But being that Mitch is out and Cat's going to have to play some 5, we expect him to add some of that defensive, I don't want to call it repertoire, but I need him to be balanced when it comes to offense and defense when he's playing the 5, just because of the position he's in.
Right. Boogs, just any surprises watching Cat? Or
No, I don't see no surprises with him. I think he's taking his normal shots. When those shots is no good is when they're not the shots that he's supposed to take. Those shots that pretty much all of them are taken within the offensive set. I haven't really seen no like forcing of the shots. You know what I'm saying? He's open. He's used to taking those shots. Let it fly. You ain't doing them. He's bringing whoever big man is out there on him. He's bringing them. They way out there. You know what I'm saying? So I just look for It's going to be more more diving towards the rim from OG, even on Bridges. You know what I'm saying? It's just so many. Cat is going to be real dominant. I just need Cat to do one of two things. Number one, if you're going to play center, you have to be the number 2 center it is in the East, point blank. It's MB Cat. That's it. If we wind up having another center that comes along and you wind up sliding to the power forward slot, I need you to be the number 2 power forward behind Giannis. That's it. Now I do know Pascal, he might average more points than him if he's at the power forward spot because we got more players that can do other things with the ball, but I still look for him to be more dominant as far as a double-double and average more assists than what Pascal has to do. So I look for him to be the number 2 in either the 5 or the number 4. I still need him to put up all-star considerations. You know what I'm saying? I need that from him. I understand we want to all make it work and everything, but there's going to be times where they already shown it where Brunson is off the floor and he's on the floor and he's looking to really get his offense. So that's I need Towns still to be himself at the same time, still making it work with the other guys that's around him. But I need him to be like, yo, okay, I was over there. Okay, they moved a big man in. They brought this dude in here next to me. It pushed me outside. Okay, I'm over here. I'm still going to let it fly here, but I'm still going to read what's on me, who's checking me. If I have to take you on that block, I'm going to take you on that block. And that's what I need everybody to do. Just read what's in front of you. Just read the defense and see how they playing you. However they playing you, just take advantage of what it is and do what you need to do to make everything work for this team.
When you were watching them in the preseason, were you hyped like, yo, this is going to be something? Or were you like, they're not looking that great. They're gonna really need a lot of time for this to come together?
Oh, when I was there in Charlotte, the very first preseason game, I was all the way up, right there in their grill. Yo, KT, welcome home, big fella. He was like, yeah. I was all the way up. You could see it in them guys. Them guys was real intense, ready to go. And people was watching and everything. And them guys is ready. They know what needs to be done. They know what they have to do. They're happy, where they're at. And that's more importantly, you know what I'm saying? You got a happy team, happy locker room, happy organization. You're going to have a happy fan base. You're going to have happy results. So the team is real happy. I was amped up, but they was totally amped up. Kolek, oh man, it seemed like every time Tom was looking down the bench down that way, he was looking at Tom like, "Yo, is you calling me?" Kolek is just he's ready to go, ready to go. He's looking up at Tom like, I should be the first one coming off this bench. That's how he's looking at it. And that puts me in the mind frame of Deuce. And you can also tell that Brunson has Kolek all the way up under his wing. When every time he did something, Brunson was in celebration off the bench, doing his excuse me, I didn't come and call, doing his celebration signature moves out to this crowd for him. You know what I'm saying? And just he's another version of Brunson almost. And I've been saying all along, he just reminds me so much of a young version of the Goran Dragic. That's what I look at his game like. He has all complete skills and he's a student of the game. That's what I love most. But yeah, they're hyped. They're ready to go. Everybody. Even TJ Warren, my man, he's talking to guys. He's talking to guys when they come in, timeouts and everything. He's talking with guys. So, the team looks like, they're very happy and there for one another, what I've seen so far. But still, we got a long way to go. I don't want everybody to think we're there yet. We are not there yet. We're not even close yet. But sooner or later, we'll know when the time is right. When the time is right, they'll know where they at.
Yeah, the offense is definitely not clicking. I think we're gonna definitely get more out of the Brunson Cat pick and roll. I still think Bridges, like I said in the intro, was trying to find his way. He's doing a lot on defense. We're not seeing much on offense. He just doesn't seem smooth, and that's not because of him. The offense is just not flowing that way. Same thing for OG, and Hart just looks like, as somebody said earlier, like he's just running around, like just haven't figured out his role. And somebody said in the chat that he's going to be more of a connector, and he said that in an article. He knows he's not going to score as much, but the offense just looks a little disconnected right now. So that'll be better. The defense, we need some work on the defense on the defensive end too. I'm not quite I'm not quite worried about that. But I'm happy about the rebounding. So for those who were concerned about Cat being a rebounder, and I wasn't, he showed that he can rebound the ball with force. I'm surprised, like I said earlier, about his offensive rebounding. So it's definitely going to come along. Talk about Brunson and Cat. What have you seen in the preseason games? I would like to see them more of the two-man game, but what have you seen? Geoff, we'll start with you, then Boogie, and then Trey.
Well, what I noticed is that the game is easier for Jalen. And I think he had a ton of points on like 10 shots. Like it really opens up the floor for him in a way that is conducive to efficient, good offense. And that's the modern NBA. And he gets wide open looks. He gets good 3-point looks. And I like the fact that you can have Cat with the above the break three and top of the key three. That's not a place that we shot a ton of threes last year. So to have someone who can knock that shot down, and especially from the 5 spot, and pull the big man out, because you have to have a big man guarding him, I think that's huge. So from that standpoint, I think just early on, I think we can already see that the game is going to be easier for Brunson with Towns. But I'm kind of with you. I want to see more pick and roll, pick and pop, utilize their strengths together. But I just don't think you're going to see a ton of that in the preseason. You don't show all that stuff till you have to. And I think when we get to Tuesday night against Boston, especially if it's working, you're going to see a real steady diet of it.
Yeah, and not just the two-man game, because off of that two-man game is when you can also get OG and Bridges involved, depending on how the defense rotates and reacts. Shout out to Josh, aka Uncle Fulio. It's fair to say many Knick fans have a tunneled view of what a 5 or 4 is supposed to be, banging. But the NBA has changed so much. JT, Siakam, Paolo, KD are today's 4s. The days of Oak are done. And it's you're absolutely right. Like, I don't even think about that. I just think about, like, well, if we got Cat, just say Cat wasn't a good rebounder. And this is what teams do anyway. How do you assemble a team around him? I mean, he is a good rebounder, but how would you assemble a team around where you get those rebounds? I mean, that's what team construction is. Not about one person. It's about how do you construct a team. So I think we're well set up for somebody like Cat. Let's just say I think he's a better defensive player than a lot of fans are giving him credit for. And I think he has that defensive ability. The way he played, if you can do it over a course of a series, that tells me you can do it. It's just a matter of consistency and want to. But if he's not a great defensive player, you constructed a team with Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby. So, yeah, I think we do have to get out of, this is what a point guard looks like. This is what a 4 looks like. This is what a 5 looks like. Just be yourself. It's up to the front office and it's up to the coach. The front office to get those players, those complementary players on the team. And then it's up to the coach to put those combinations together, the best combinations together. Cat be Cat. Brunson doesn't have to be Kid. And Cat doesn't have to be Akeem Olajuwon. Cat just needs to be Cat. And it's the front office has to construct that team around him and around Brunson that gives the Knicks the best chance to win. And you're right, Josh. We got to get out of this is what a 5 is supposed to do. This is what a 4 is supposed to do. This is what a 1 is supposed to do. All of those things that you need, you get it from the team. If one person doesn't bring it, then who else you bringing in that's gonna bring it? Part of the reason why Josh is starting is for rebounding because OG is not a great rebounder. So you got to have Hart in there. If OG was a great rebounder, then maybe we can go with a Deuce or we can go with go with somebody else. So whatever a player is weak in, then you bring in another player so that as a whole the team is fortified. So yeah, I do think as far as the tunnel vision, we have to get off of it. And I think another thing we have to get off of is Randall is not here, period, point blank. It's disappointing. I had to go through it, for a few days. And I like Cat, but like Geoff said earlier, two things can be true. You can miss Randall and still like Cat. It doesn't have to be, one against the other. The Knicks, when you get into the playoffs and you can go 5 out like Boston is going 5 out, we'll see how much that is going to help us. Trey, yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to say this, and then I got to run because I got to prep for my show at 7:00.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned Hart in the starting lineup. I also believe that that's the case because of the trade. If not for the trade, I believe he'd be coming off the bench with Dante. And I believe that 5 would have been Mitch, Randall, OG, Bridges, and Brunson. It would have been that starting 5 without that trade. I think because Cat's here now, and you had to, put Dante in the package to get Cat, it forces the Knicks to kind of put Hart to start at the 3. So just wanted to put that out there. But also, Queen, I got to run, folks. Geoff, J Boog, Ajay, appreciate you, inviting me back on here. Always a good time when I'm on here. Looking forward to the next one.
What's the name of your show, my guy?
Great thing.
Oh, logo back here, Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. Just look for us on all your streaming platforms. We're also on YouTube. My Twitter handle's right there. If you got IG, I'm on Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. Sorry about that. If you're looking for me on IG. Yeah. So yeah, when you see that logo, that's us right there.
Appreciate you dropping by, Trey. Anytime. Join us anytime.
All right. Appreciate y'all.
We'll drop by and support your show, man.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Appreciate it.
No doubt.
All right, y'all.
Yeah. So shout out to Sherwin. He said it's not about missing Randall. It's about the things he does that Cat can't. But this is what we're trying to say, Sherwin. It doesn't have to be 1-for-1. Right? Doesn't have to be 1-for-1. He doesn't have to bring what Randall brought. He can just be himself. As long as we get the overall scoring from the team, as long as we get the overall rebounding from the team, that's what matters. He doesn't have to be Randall. And Randall is not going to be Cat in Minnesota. Trust me, he's not. So what are we missing? He's a playmaker as well. Now, one thing we are missing is Randall is he's somebody that can bring the ball up the court and initiate the offense. But okay, we're not getting that from Randall, but we can get that from Bridges, right? It doesn't have to be that 1-for-1 switch. Oh, Cat can't bring the ball up. Randall, okay, but we got Bridges for that. So I listen, we're gonna be okay. Let Cat be Cat. We got to look at as a team, overall as a team, where are we? All right. Let's get to the bench before we get out of here. Who has impressed you on the bench unit? Anybody you're surprised about? Yeah, let's talk about the bench. Boogie, we'll start with you.
Already knew Deuce was going to come into this season on a mission like he's on a mission. Coming off from last year, making a even more name of himself. completely outplaying his contract. Deuce, I'll always say, the day you sign your contract is the day you're working on your next contract. Deuce is already performing for his next contract. That's what he's doing. He's adding more things to his game. You can see it. You can see he's been working on trying to take people off the dribble. He already has the stop and pop. He has no hesitation in letting it fly. And he still has his bread and butter, which is his defensive skill sets. You know what I'm saying? So I already know Deuce was going to come into this season. Like, okay, especially when that trade was made, okay, it's more of an opportunity for me. Time for me to start even, showing more, display more of what I've been working on and what I have, been working on for the during the off season and getting ready to go. So I know what Deuce is gonna do. I already know Shammy can play ball. I know that. You know what I'm saying? Shammy is what you call a real good teammate. And I look for Shammy Gang to get a whole lot better here. Everybody that we don't brought here, everybody we don't traded for, even the Derrick Rose rejuvenated his career. You brought Josh Hart over here, you see what it did. We brought OG over here, you see what it's doing. I look for everybody that's got traded and can't come over here to continue on following what them guys did when they got here. Dante, he came over here, his best career of his life. You know what I'm saying? So people have come here to play for this organization and turn their game up. So I look for that to happen with Shamit. I completely look for Towns the game to completely turn further up, over here. Julius, when he came from where he was at, he came here, became two-time All NBA, most improved player, three-time All-Star. He became that here. You know what I'm saying? And thank you, Julia, for help, being part of changing, this organization in a different direction. But the guys that's here right now, that's come over here, I look for their games to be turned up even further. I love where Shaman is at. I love what Deuce is going to bring to the table. You see Precious. Precious is a little bit better on his rebound, and he's serious about it. He's happy about who he is and what he does. We just need a few more players that can do something else. I would love for Sims to come along, Sim. Come along and be here. The rumors starting to spread. They starting to say you about to lose your time. I don't even know the other new big guy's name. But he looks like, damn, I got opportunity here. I can't wait. You know what I'm saying? And he looks like he's not going to do anything to hurt you. That's real important. Being able to play, but not doing something that's going to hurt or jeopardize, your time for being in the game. But I just love where we at. Kolek, what more can I say in the words of Jay-Z? Kolek is a complete ball player, student of the game. You can trust him. He understands what he's doing. He understands the other player's position. He know how to run the offensive set. He know how to run the pick and roll. He know when it's time to take his shot. He know when it's time to just make a play. That's real big, knowing when just to make a play. Every player is not getting a bucket. Every time you don't have to make a bucket doesn't win a game all the time. And you see him running the pick and rolls, and with the big man off the bench, he's making him better and making his game even easier. So I know the bench need to get better. We got, we took a little backseat of it, you know what I'm saying? But I got trust and belief in the office. They're not done yet. They're not nowhere near done yet. We're going to see what we got now. We're going to roll with it. We're going to swing with it. And when we get to the deadline, we're going to see what else we need to do. But for here right now, everybody's good right now as far as, what they're doing, what they need to be doing, and what they're being asked to do. That's really important. Doing what you're asked to do. And if you can add and contribute more to the asking of your game, then that's even further along for the team to go.
Yeah, for sure. And we didn't even mention Campaign, who's been balling. But Geoff, who stood out for you?
Him and Chevy. That's champagne.
Right.
Champagne, boy. They drinking.
Right. Who stood out for you off the bench, who's impressed, who's surprised, who
I'll tell you
hasn't?
what, I saw a stat the other day, and I'm not huge on player efficiency rating as a stat, but Tyler Kolek had the highest player efficiency rating in the league over the first 3 preseason games. That's crazy. Like, the guy has just been hyper efficient. Like, he just looks like a ball player out there. And it's crazy because he's going to be situational, because Campaign is the guy that you can put in and he can play the traditional point guard.
Okay, go ahead. Try again.
Okay. And Campaign can play the traditional point guard spot as well. I mean, here's a guy who can command an offense. He can run the team and look very good also. So you have, versatility, and all we know from last year, all these guys are going to get their shot, even if they're not in the 9-man rotation right away.
That is correct. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, real quick, when you said Campaign, the only 2 things I see different between Cam and Kolek, 1 is experience, 2 is speed. When he's able to get the offense into their sets quicker and faster, like Cam does, you know what I'm saying? Then you're gonna really, his game gonna go even further than what it is right now. But to me, that's the only difference that I see between them 2 is the experience and the speed. Because Cam really gets us in when he's in the game. He pushes the ball and gets that offense into the set real quick and early in that shot clock, so we can have multiple looks, if we're not taking the quick and first look that's normally wide open when Cam pushes the rock. But yeah, man, hey.
But I like this setup. I don't like, and this is the situation we was in. I don't know if it was last season or 2 seasons ago. I like having young players have the chance to grow into their role. I don't like having young players where you have to count on them in order for your team to be successful. It's just not a good place to be in, because they have to be allowed to grow, and that means to be inconsistent. And they shouldn't have that pressure on them that they have to show up game in and game out. Like, that robs them of the experience of growth. And I think that was Grimes' downfall. Grimes didn't do anything but what a young player does, which is be up and down. That's part of being a young player. But because the Knicks, just like that, went from being a very young team to now playoff contention, championship contention, we wanted so much more out of Grimes, and he wasn't ready for that. So I'm cool with Kolek. He has a higher ceiling, in my opinion, than Campaign. But right now, we need that experience. We need that speed for what we're trying to do. 2-3 years down the line, there's no doubt in my mind, Kolek is the backup, guy. But I love how the Knicks went out and got insurance after insurance. Kolek, I mean, not Kolek, Campaign is insurance. Shamet, he's a journeyman, but what he has, you can never have enough of, and that's shooting and experience. That's what even if he's situational. Let's just say Deuce doesn't take the next step, and right now it looks like he is. But if he does, now you have experience in shooting. You're not derailed. Your championship hopes are not derailed. So I think the Knicks did a great job of going out and bringing in guys that, if things go awry for whatever reason, we can bring. We don't have to go to our, what do you call, two-way contract guys like last year.
Right.
We can go to Shamet, we can go to Payne, if things don't work out. So I love the way they built this team. Now, do you think in that second unit, well, let's talk about Sims first. I'm not seeing, and I've watched all 3 games, even though I was on vacation. Shout out to Jamaica. I'm not seeing a lot of growth out of Sims in this his 4th year. I see Sims as being situational. I don't see him, even though he's that 5th guy, and when Tibbs is going 10, he has 5 bench players in there. I don't see Sims being that 5th guy. Talk to me, we'll start with you, Jeff, and then we'll go to Boogie. Talk to me about what you've seen from Sims this season, and yeah, if you think he's going to be in that rotation.
I think he's on shaky ground. If I was him, I would play well tonight. I'll say that. I think, I just don't see a real spot for him. I think Precious is going to fill most of those backup minutes, and we can even play small ball. We can do a lot of different things. There's versatility, but I think it's a Chua's job, and Sims is not impressed. I agree with you. I think he's regressed. Jerrell's comment may have been the one of the night in the chat when he said Sims isn't a 4 or a 5, he's a 0. Shout out to Jerrell.
Yeah. Yeah. Jay Boogie, what you've seen from Sims, and then Ajay will get to you.
He's confused. He don't know if he want to let his hair out or if he want it braided. He don't have nothing to do, no understanding of what's going on the basketball court.
Mm-hmm.
And I've also blamed whoever's in his camp. I seen your videos. You want to work on your handle. That's not your game. We don't need you to handle the rock. You should have been somewhere trying to call Al Horford. Go and work out with a guy like that. Because Al was similar to you when he came in. Athletic, you know what I'm saying? Guy like that. And you have to, every NBA player has a mimic of somebody's game. Who is he mimicking? Nobody's game, and it's sad to see because here he is, I'm rooting for the kid, he has an opportunity to make a name for himself and also feed yourself and your family. That's what I liked about, Hartenstein was another guy that I left his name out. When he came from and came here, those are two different players that was here before Hartenstein got here, but he took advantage of when he got here and he worked hard. Thank God, blessings to our culture who say time is not developing. Let me throw that out too, because everybody that's come here gained or turned around or got redeveloped into something else, and they're going somewhere else to do something else, you know what I'm saying, coming from here. But I don't understand why Sims cannot get it. I don't understand it. You're athletic, you got the tools, but I don't know what it is, but you got to want it. Nobody's going to give it to this guy. So, I mean, with Sims, I know he's on his way up out of here, probably more sooner than later. And I hate it for the kid, because, he's part of the family and he's trying to do something for himself. But, dude, this is what, 3 years now with the Knicks? You still playing like you just came in. You're probably going to go down as the worst big man that came from Texas. And they don't provided a lot of big men out of that college that came to the NBA and did a lot of dominant things. You know what I'm saying? But he doesn't fall nowhere in that suit of them big men that came from Texas. I don't mean to be harsh on that man, but I love the Knicks. And if you're not helping us get towards a championship, then hey, you don't need to be on this team. You don't need to be on this team. And I hate to say it, but give me somebody in there that's going to want to work hard and appreciate being here with an opportunity of helping this team reach a goal, which is a finals championship, which will be bigger than any other sport. In football, baseball, a Knick championship would be bigger than any other sport. And shout out to the Yankees before I forget. And shout out to the Mets. We're looking like I'm hoping and praying for the Subway. And shout out to the Liberty. Going over there to Minnesota. You know what I'm saying? Handle your business and smirk off at, at Dante and Julius while you're over there. Let them know it's New York still in the building.
For sure. Some guys just don't have it, and some guys will get opportunities because they're athletic and because they can, they can run and they can jump. You got to remember, Sims played the entire 4 years in college. He did not come out early. He played guys came in and left, and he was still there. Kai Jones, a few others out of Texas. They came in and left, and he was still there. So he didn't have a lot of upside to begin with. When he came here, he might have been at his ceiling, when we got him. Um, but you said something, Boogie, that he looks lost. And I don't know the sets. He might be doing what he's supposed to be doing. But he just looked like he just running up and down the court. That's what he looks like to me. And I think this is his last contract for sure with the Knicks. And it might be in his career. And I heard and somebody in the chat said, Tibbs ruined him. He played. Listen, as many players who came through the Knicks and have gotten better, I don't even know if I have enough fingers. Mitch got better. Randall got better. IQ got better. If we can go on and on and on and on, one player doesn't get better, and now all of a sudden that's the coach's fault. Sims came in. He was like the 50-something pick. He didn't have a lot of upside. And there's a lot of players who switch positions from 5 to 4 to 4 to 5 when they get in the NBA. So that's not, that's not the reason. Sims just not it. And it's okay. It happens. He wouldn't be the only one. Let me just get to these super chats and then we'll move on. Shout out to Paris Duggar. Love Brunson understands they're struggling as a fit, yet they got to win these games to keep the criticism noise down. That's why he's taking more shots. Okay. I mean, if that's your understanding of it. And then also Paris Doug, appreciate you. Sims bullying is whack. Dude took the fouls for Cat. Not sure. Yeah, not sure about that. Yeah. Anybody else want to comment, Ajay, on what you've seen from Sims before we talk about the second unit more?
The same thing we've always seen from Sim. He hasn't shown any improvement, and I'm not gonna go as far to say that he's a lost cause, because we've seen guys with minutes, and a couple of seasons ago, Jericho Sims he's got some playing time. I remember at some point, Mitch went down and he was starting ahead of, I don't remember if Hartenstein was there or maybe Nerlens Noel. He was starting ahead of somebody. He was decent. So there is a little something in there. I don't know. Maybe this is not. And right now, the team is at a place where you can be trying guys to see what they have. Like if they don't have it, they don't have it. It's just, you just can't play them. So maybe it's a different time and a different situation. So, but I haven't seen any improvement. Listen, it's the preseason. Supposedly he was working on some stuff over the summer. I don't know how much of a difference that's going to make, because at some point you've been playing ball for like 7 years now or whatever he's been playing, both college and in the NBA. You are who you are at this point. I mean, if you don't have the skills, you just don't have them. So the effort plays you could expect from him. But if he's lost, as Jay Boogie said, then you're not going to see the effort plays, and he's going to be out there just running up and down, not doing much. I haven't seen any improvement, but I'm not going to, close the curtain on him, because, you never know. You never know what situation might present itself, and what he might be the guy who we need to put out there to get some minutes, and we might see a different side of him. But right now he's not showing it. He's not showing much right now.
Yeah. And I don't think Tibbs is going 10. Like we've seen like 5 bench players in the game. I don't think that's going to be the case in the regular season. Geoff, you can answer that question, but then also just weigh in on your thoughts on the 3-guard lineup. A lot of Cam, Shamet, and Bridges, a bit undersized. All 3 of those guys. Even I think Shamet is 6'4". I wanna say, and it's hard to run a wing with that unit, right? If you run Mikal Bridges with that unit, now you got McBridges at the 4. So I'm not sure what Tibbs is going to do. Is he going to keep it like that and run OG with that unit, or is he going to make Shamet or Campaign situational so he can run a wing with that unit. But if you want, you can comment on Sims before you answer that.
I don't really have if you don't have anything nice to say, you shouldn't say anything at all. That's what Mom always said. So we'll leave that Sims thing alone. But as far as the other, I kind of think that it's a training camp battle situation. Let's put these guys out there, see which combinations work best. Even if we don't utilize that exact alignment in the regular season, it's good to see those guys out there together. How does this one play with that one? Can we put them on the floor at the same time? How do they interact? I think you're going to see Bridges running the second unit quite a bit. I also kind of think we're going to have two starters in with whoever the bench guys are most of the time anyway. I think that's how we're going to stagger our rotations. I could be wrong about that. That's how I would do it, at least if it was me. But we'll see how it works. In the one game, Deuce didn't play at all, so maybe that was just a way of soaking up the minutes, for lack of a better phrase. But I actually think the 3-guard alignment was pretty good. I liked how they looked. I thought they did a good job. Are they undersized? Yes. Is it perfect? No, but for a few minutes, they were fast. They did a good job. I liked what I saw.
Ajay, then Boogie, just your thoughts on the 3-guard lineup and who you gonna run with that unit. Precious will be there, and then you got to run one more starter with that unit. Just your thoughts on that?
You know what? I mean, if we're gonna go small, we might as well go small, right? I would run Mikal Bridges with that lineup. Add Mikal Bridges to that, but that 3-guard lineup it's not bad at all. Of course, it depends on who the opponent is, but I see that's something they could run quite often during the regular season. Because you had, and those 3 guys, I've been impressed with and not just as a 3-guard lineup, but individually. I think these guys they've been playing well in the preseason. So, and Queen, it may be a situation where it's just those 3 guys and 2 starters. So you could have, and I think Tibbs is probably going to experiment with that a couple of times. So don't be surprised if you see that out there. 3 guards and then a CAD, or, depending on the foul situation and so on and so forth. You might see those three guards and Mikal Bridges and CAD out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. For me, it depends on who the 4 and 5 is, because you're not getting rebounding from those 3 guys. So if you're coming with Cat and Precious behind them, then I'm good. Yeah. That's fine. Bridges and Precious, I don't know. We'll see. They ran that lineup in the preseason. I'm sure Tibbs has the stats on how many possessions they had together, what the rebounding was like. But it was a really small team if you're running Mikal Bridges at the 4. Your thoughts, Boogie, on that, and just the bench overall? Just what do you think about the bench play?
The bench can be a whole lot better, and they're going to get better. I like that they're, I love their effort. They're tenacious, and especially amongst, Cam, Deuce, and Shamit, and Precious. You know what I'm saying? I like that right there. Just me, if it's me, I just wish I would have had Thaddeus Young to go with them guys. I'd have had Thaddeus, on this squad, still out there. But I mean, I'm happy with where they at because I know we're not finished, and I know what's the goal. And just developing and making these guys work, it's going to turn out for the good. As far as starters and everything, I'm happy with the starters. I see a lot of people, they kind of like, down on Bridges, a little bit.
Really?
And yeah. The thing about Bridges, because people talk about the 5 and the 6 picks we gave up for them. It's not easy being the number 1 defensive player and a spot up shooter in Phoenix, then get traded and become a number one in Brooklyn. And you're the face of a team in a franchise, and you're the number one guy, and you got to do the scoring and all this and that. And then you get traded over here to the Knicks, and you're not in that position, and we need you to come in and fit a role as if when you was with Phoenix, and a lot of people look at, because we gave up all those picks for him, we should be getting more up out of him, but they're missing the things that he's doing. You know what I'm saying? Especially on the defense. And that third quarter, when we took over that Minnesota game, it had a lot to do with Bridges on that defensive end. Just getting in passing lanes, the deflecting balls, and pause and making deflections and everything. I love what Bridges being on this squad. It's smaller, unathletic version of Latrell Sprewell for me. That's going to play defense, is going to be there for you. And you know what I'm saying? Continue on playing and not missing games, my guy. You know he's going to be there for you. He's going to do whatever it takes for the squad. But if it was somehow, some way, somebody else can be on this team, and Bridges can get to the 2, and OG can get to the 3, and Cat can get to the 4, then we're going to see some more cooking, because it's going to allow Josh to have his own squad and be on the bench and be the leader of that squad, But that's going to have to wait till we see what happens with Mitch when he comes back, or if we're going to make another move. But for now, teams already know, and they're already scared. They know what they got to face and what they got to deal with. And we ain't even got it down pat yet. We're nowhere near close, And, man, I'm happy for Tom. Happy for Tom to have a team what he want, and in all phases of the game. I think this is Tom's best. I think this is Tom's best offensive lineup that he's had. I'm not going to put him in front of them Bulls, but Derrick Rose was healthy, and they had Dang and Boozer and Noah and somebody else, Kirk Heinrich. Them guys can turn and elevate their games to different levels. It's just, unfortunately, that dude was in the East. It's hard to beat that dude, LeBron. It was hard, but I want to see this team to be able to carry their game to another level. And when you think you're there with us, we can go to another level. And that's the opportunity that we have with this squad. But I'm happy, Queen. I'm happy, Queen. I got to go cook, Queen, because I said, Dad, I was going to go on Queen's show, and I put it in the chat 5 minutes. I was in the grocery store going to get the food. And my baby, I got the door locked, but she ready for me to make burgers and fries, and, so I just needed to make sure I'm amongst my family. I haven't seen y'all in a minute. I have seen y'all, but being with y'all, rocking with y'all, Adji, my guy, AKA, what I'm saying, the air pilot and conductor of the podcasters, and to the captain himself, always dropping them major jewels. And Queen herself is always, doing her thing. I appreciate you so much, Queen. Thank you for everything that you always, provided and given us all. The doors that you're open, and the doors that you'll constantly continue opening, and you just being yourself, and just, hey, I appreciate your dedication, your effort, and everything you do outside of your profession that people really don't know. People have professional careers, but to take the time out when they finish doing that and they come here, you need to appreciate them people. Make sure I don't know where we at with the likes and everything, but please make sure you're hitting those like buttons, subscribe, share, and be a part of the movement, shout out to everybody that's watching and viewing, and let's go Knicks. Let's get another understanding of where we were trying to get to tonight. Shout out to the Mets, shout out to the Yankees, shout out to the Liberties, shout out to the Rangers, shout out to the Islanders, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Giants, even though they took a loss, they playing harder. That's from my Uncle Rel. shout out to the Jets getting Dante Adams. I hope that's going to turn around and get that green monster going in a better direction. You know what I'm saying? It's just New York sports right now. We doing our thing, and there ain't no sports going on that's more better than when the New York sports is going on, man. So shout out to everybody. And here come the New York Knicks. Here we come, baby. I don't know about the other thing over there, BK, but here we come, baby.
Appreciate you, Bugs.
Yeah. And
Always.
shout out to Rick too, man. Letting it be known. Yeah, I know you want to still be here, man. That's over with, man. Get out your feelings, man. You know what I'm saying? Get out your feelings, Dante. You ain't got to be like that. We wanted you here too, but you over there now. You know what I'm saying? You over there with them Vikings, man. You them dirty people over there, man. We miss you, man. But man, it's a new thing going on. Salute, salute, salute. 3 capital S's. Bless, health, happiness to everybody.
Appreciate you.
Shut up.
Yeah, we gotta close this out. Yeah, it would be the last thing is just Josh Hart looking out of sorts on the bench. I mean, excuse me, as a starter, trying to find his way. And that kind of happened last year too. And he was coming off the bench. It took him some time to find his way. Hopefully he does. Boogie said there's another move they're working on. We'll see. It would be nice to have Josh Hart come off the bench, but whatever it is, we'll be ready.
I want to know what that other move could be though. Like who they move it. Like,
well, even if they don't move it now, Precious, we can trade him in December.
Watch your mouth, Queen. Watch your mouth. Talk about that trading Precious nonsense.
I mean,
but seriously though, I haven't been impressed with him in preseason. He had like maybe a good game the last time, but he's looking a bit out of sorts also.
Oh.
But I think it's it's preseason, man. That's to be expected. I'm not worried. I think these guys, they'll get better. The chemistry will get better. They'll get to where they need to be come next week.
You think we were 0-3 the way the folks are in this chat tonight, boy.
I know, right?
They got their teeth out, man. This is not the tone and tenor I was expecting from this show. It's all good. I'm just surprised. Very, very interesting dynamic. Not what I expected, but always great points from the chat. Salute to them, but not what not the audience I expected to be coming into tonight for sure.
Like somebody said, the fan base wasn't that high on OG till he proved himself. So I think that's the same thing with Cat. He has to prove himself to the fan base. That's not on his mind. Trust me, it's not. But probably not. But then the fan will wow. Coach said he just read Thomas sitting the starting lineup. Okay.
Really?
We'll see.
Does he have the flu? Is he okay? Did somebody kidnap him? I don't know. That doesn't sound like Thibodeau.
All right. Any last words?
Hey man, looking forward
Thank you, Queen. We missed you.
Okay, yeah, do we? We of course Queen's away and I'm away, and we're talking. She making fun of Precious out there when Precious slipping and sliding, falling on his back over there. Queen out of the country, still
times in a row. It's like, what is going on here?
Oh boy. Yeah, but it's good to be back, man, because I haven't been on the show in a couple of weeks, and yeah, it's good to be back, and looking forward to this season coming. Queen, we're gonna have a show. We're gonna have like a prediction show. We haven't had one yet for the season.
Thursday, that's what I'm saying. This is the last we're gonna talk about the preseason. Thursday show, the weekly show, is gonna be our season preview and prediction show, and Lee Escobar from Nick of Time will be joining us. So that should be great. Looking forward.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. Looking forward to that.
Right there. That's wow.
And Tom Thibodeau will be watching as usual.
Tom Thibodeau.
As usual.
Shout out to the chat, Rocket Mega, Coach DN, East Blue Drew, J Tap, my guy, Wild Boy Trey, Old Head Boy Bo Ishmael, Sherman was in the house, A Train, DN, Keyshawn,
Josh, Uncle Julio.
Josh, Uncle Fulio, appreciate the super chat. Parish Duggar was in the house, appreciate the super chat as well. Slim Slammer, Trey Frazier for joining us on the panel. Boogie for joining us on the panel. And listen, for the chat, listen, keep it, you know, I don't want to, you know, cursing each other out and things like that. Just keep it respectful. That's all I'm saying. You could disagree without being disagreeable.
Oh my!
You know,
it's funny that it is so hard for some people to do that. I don't get it.
You could disagree without being disagreeable.
And it's only some people too. It's not.
Yeah, you don't have to take it to the next level and call the person a name, and now they don't know what they're talking about, and they an asshole and this. I mean, let's just relax. It's just not that. Just I disagree. I feel different. Even with me, you disagree. I'm cool. I'm cool with it. Just be respectful with it. That's it.
Yeah.
See y'all Thursday. Gonna be a fun one. Y'all don't miss it.
You took that one hard, disappeared like a paycheck on bill day.
I feel that. A-Train with the comment.
I know. I'm starting to look for yo A-Train. A-Train be dropping some crazy lines, man. Shout out to A-Train. I did take it hard, and I listen. I listen. It's my team. I love the team, regardless. I really wanted to see what the team was like with what we had. You know, we didn't have a chance, so that you know. But nevertheless, you know, we root for our team, and let's you know, let's see it develop into something better than it would have been with Julius Randle.
Right.
And maybe one day AJ will smile again.
Yeah, I'm smiling.
All right, fam. We'll be back Thursday, 9 p.m. The regular Just Nickin' It weekly show where we'll be doing our season preview and predictions. The Knicks play. I hope it's a 7:30 game. If it's a 7 o'clock game, I'm late.
Today, no, they play 7:30. So we got 15 minutes to get the beer ready and all that good stuff.
All right. All right. Cool.
All right.
Until next time, family.
All right.
Salute.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Oh, sister, it's time you
That's her.
shine. Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?